me not, having to cremate Hardel, because we may have to exhume his body now that we have seen all of this other new evidence that has been coming out. So, Mrs. Sokolo, thank you to you for your love you've shown to me and my family. Thank you so much. Yes, and if you want to say something,
scoot over. You're in frame of this camera. Scoot over.
I just want to say that thank you everybody for standing in solidarity for all our stolen lives. We're talking about all our stolen lives. Thank you guys for coming out. When I couldn't sleep the night before I called my sister Dale Shane. I couldn't sleep. God had put her on my heart and on my mind because I felt so strongly that something wasn't right in her son's murder. And God would not let me rest. All night I thought about her. I'm not a morning person, but I was up early in the morning. I said, let me find my sister. And I called her. And when she said that they were talking about cremating him, I said, no ma'am, don't do it. Don't do it. Something is funny going on. They plan on your emotions. They want you to get rid of that body so you won't have no evidence. You won't have evidence when those bodies are cremated and they have done wrong to your children. You have to have that body. So God put her on my heart and I called her and we made sure that Hardel was taken care of.
Next up, I would like to call my friend Kim Patty Jones. Where you at, Kim?
Boots on the ground! We're here to shut this shit down! Boots on the ground! We're here to shut this shit down! Boots on the ground! We're here to shut this shit down!
Thank you so much. That's the story. Let me tell you the story about Ms. Kim. My God. What a trooper. And I get teary-eyed just thinking about it. I was at an event with Michelle Rose in the Communities Against Police Violence. And I met Kim there. I was speaking. And this Kim came up to me. She could just see all the cold in this block. I was so depressed. You know, I was coming home. And she hugged me. She said, sister, let me tell you something. Your son is going to get a headstone. She said, you got him buried, but we're going to get him a headstone now. And I was just so elated. I was like, what? I just barely learned about who she was at that event that we were at with Michelle Rose. And she came up and she told me that. And I was like, oh my God. I said, I just was shocked. And we have been friends ever since. And I call you for that because I know when a friend is there for you through thick and thin. It doesn't matter what you're going through. They never leave you. They're there with you through it all. And her son, of course, everybody knows her son is Hardel. And my baby's name is Hardel. So how, look at God, there's no way that we couldn't be connected. And what she has done in the community, everybody knows what Kim Handy Jones has been doing here in Minnesota. She traveled all the way up, yes, she traveled all the way up here from Chicago, my hometown, talk about that too, amen, and comes and supports and gets it in and puts them boots on the ground. So without further ado, I'm going to give you the mic and let you take it from here. But that's just a little something for you just to say I love you. I thank you so much for all you've done and continue to do for all of us. Another round of applause for Kim Annie Jones. Yeah.
Everybody, welcome. We're live here in St. Paul, Minnesota for 2-year anniversary of Hardel Sherrell. That was Delcia Perry, Hardel Sherrell's mother, speaking.
Hardel has succumbed to this illness, which should have been avoided. We'll just say to the effect from the injury jail and from the medical staff. You know, I'm a mother. You can't help feel the same thing when another mother goes through. It's kind of hard. It's hard to sit still. It's hard to process it in your head. So when my son Hardel was executed, I just know I needed to see somebody that looks like me. So that person for me was Valerie Steele. Love you, Valerie. She reached out to me as one of the first mothers I had encountered when Hardel got here. So, I come from a big family. My brother had 16 kids, 13 kids. So it's a lot of us, and it's a lot of us in one room, but I was so alone. So alone. Because there was nobody that didn't love me. Nobody who had been impacted by me. Not that I wanted it, but I still need to see who I truly am Jones identified with. So when Hardel's life was taken negligently, and then you find out it's the only child, not that it makes it any better to add 10. It does something to the heart. The mind can't rest. The heart won't be still in your peace. You look up and feel you look there on the ground. Because justice is not a thing that you can just say, oh, justice is what today I see with it, I eat with it, I shower with it, I do everything you do in life for the fight for justice. My boots, they never get a rest. I took off from the ground running, and I told God, if you just let me have my head, and let me keep my sanity, I will do your will. Not my will, but your will. And I told him that I promised to go out and reach and touch other people whose lives have been affected and impacted like mine. Sister, Hardel is watching over you. He's watching over you. And I'm just going to tell you, that angel, our angels in heaven, they're ministering to us every day. And I just need you to sit at this field, sit at the feet of God. Get ready for overflow. God is about to blow your mind. He's about to blow all of our mind. It's running over in our lives. I can feel it. And you're in the right position. Just stay seated, because the enemy will want you to get up out your seat. If you stay seated, and you won't know where. I love you, Delcia. I thank you for that powerful prayer that you prayed with me one day. Since I remember that, because the heart was heavy. I too, in the middle of the month, I'm taking a sabbatical because God is so beautiful. Because I can't receive what He has for me when I'm moving and going here, going there. I've been so many places and I've seen so many places. I don't know. If you would have asked me the first year where did I go, I couldn't even tell you since I don't know. I didn't know that I was gone. So I had to be here for Hardel. I had to. I was there in the beginning, and I'm going to continue to be there. Because this fight ain't over. And I do know that when I come back, justice will be here. But I'm going to come back like I never left. But I got to do God's will, and I got to let Him have His way in me. So, but you know, I'm just a phone call away. And I say I'm going to be still, but I'll probably just come and visit up here. I don't know if I'll be. Yeah, you know what I mean? any events, but I got to be still, and because the mind is getting cluttered, and I need to purge it, and I need to be able to receive what God has for me, and what He has for me is for me, and what He has for you all is for you all. And usually I'm radical, but today I just want to come in peace and be in peace, because George Floyd, when he said "Mama" 11 times, my son called me and said "Mama" when they executed him. So that kind of just shifted my fight, and it took it to a whole other level. I'm not the same Kim anymore. I had the gloves off when they killed Hardel, but I threw them away after George Floyd. I don't need them, because a fight is a fight. And I'm in it for the long haul. I'm in it to God saying, servant, job, well done. And I'm in it to save you all, kids, because you know what? We can save ours, but if there's something that we can do to save you all, we have done something. And white people, I need you to know that this doesn't impact black people and black families. It impacts your kids too. Not at a rapid rate, but it does. And I don't need you all to just wake up. I need you to say no. Because an injustice to one of us is an injustice to all of us. And if you're not mad, then you're not in it for the fight. You ought to be just as angry as Hardel Sherrell, Mom, Cordell Handy, Mom, Philando Castile, Mom. You all should be even angrier. And the reason why you should be angrier is because you know that that's sitting in your living room. It's right there. Now whether or not you choose to ignore it, that's on you. All we can do is the boot work, the groundwork, and keep you all informed. That's our job. Your job is to get in the race, stay in the race, keep your boots on the ground by any means necessary. Delcia, I love you. I love Hardel. People might ask, well, how does she know she loves Hardel? Because I see him through you, sister. I see him through you. And they say the apple never falls far from the tree. So I know what fruit you did. I know. I love you. And I just want to say, not for the fortune, not for the fame. I come today to say Hardel's name. I put one foot up, put one foot down, I put them all together, got boots on the ground. Boots on the ground. We're here to shut the shit down. Boots on the ground. We're here to shut the shit down. Boots on the ground. We're here to shut the shit down. Thank you. I love you. I love you all. And remember, we individually come today as one, but we individually stand as 10,000. Let's bring this group together, people.
Thank you again, Kim. God bless you for your call. Thank you so much. Next up, I'm going to have my attorney, Mr. Leon, come on up and share what's been going on with Hardel case. And then we will begin to march. And we have some other speakers come up that I'd like to have kind of fill you all in on kind of what's been going on with my son. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark. I've been working with Delcia for a few years now. Today is the second anniversary of Hardel's passing. He died in a place that I can only describe as a torture chamber, 4 hours up north in Beltrami County. I didn't know Hardel during his time here. I've only gotten to know him through Delcia and through various records and videos that I've seen of him. And if I had to use one word to describe Hardel, I would describe him as a fighter. He held on to his life till his very last breath. He suffered for a week. Every single opportunity that anyone had to save him, to help him, even as he lay paralyzed on the jail floor for 2 days, unable to move, unable to eat or drink, dehydrated, starving. He was left there to die, but he kept fighting until he couldn't fight anymore. Now that I got to know Delcia, I know where he got that quality, and he got that quality from her. And one thing that I will say that to me, Delcia is a hero, and I'll tell you why. She wakes up every day, and she goes to sleep every day with one goal in mind, to make sure that what happened to her son doesn't happen to anyone else. A lot of these county jails that are hours and hours away from here function on a policy of out of sight, out of mind. If you don't see them, if you don't hear them, if you don't know what's happening there, people will keep dying and no one is going to do anything. Mothers will be left without children, children will be left without parents. And because of Delcia, we're going to change all that. We have been to every place we could have, except for this place so far. We've been to the governor, we've been to the attorney general, we've been to the Department of Corrections, we've been to the Minnesota Board of Medical Practice, we've been to the FBI. All of these agencies have promised to make sure that what happened to Hardel doesn't happen to anyone else, all because of Delcia's work that she puts in every single day of her life. This is the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. This is the place that apparently is out here to apprehend criminals. What we want is change, and we want action today. We want the government to take action to make sure that what happened to Hardel doesn't happen to anyone else ever again. And to do that, we have to keep showing up to these places. We have to demand justice, and we have to make sure they don't forget about us, they don't forget about Hardel, and that they remember that there are people just like Hardel suffering today, will be suffering tomorrow. I'm sure they're going to make it out alive. We don't have a death penalty here in Minnesota, and people that go into local county jails have to be able to leave the jails on their 2 feet. All kinds of people come to the jails. Some of them are innocent, some of them are guilty, but all of them deserve to be treated as human beings, and that's what Delcia is fighting for every single day. I will say a couple things that we want the government to do, and that's why we're here. Number one, we want body cameras to be required in every single county jail to be worn by everyone. Correctional officers, administration, medical staff. So in all of these jails that are scattered throughout the state, that everyone who works there remembers that we're going to be watching you every single day. And if you screw up, we're going to come after you. Number two, we want every single jail death to be treated as a homicide investigation. What's happened in this case is what we've seen happen over and over again. The government killing people and then covering up for their misconduct just to save themselves. Every single place until Delcia came along that had an opportunity to look into Hardel's case is shoved under the rug. There was a whistleblower nurse who filed complaints about Hardel within days after he died. She filed complaints for the Minnesota Department of Corrections. She filed complaints for the Board of Nursing and the Board of Medical Practice. And she filed a complaint with the County Medical Examiner's Office. Every single one of these places took a written complaint and tried to do with it something so that nobody could ever find that document ever again. All of that changed because of Delcia. So we want the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension to create a specialized agency that will focus on investigating in-custody deaths of police officers and deaths in custody of various jails and prisons in the state of Minnesota. Unfortunately, given the amount of people that died in the state in custody of police and jails, an agency of 3 to 5 investigators and support staff could stay busy year-round investigating these cases to make sure that people stop dying. Number 3, we want a state mandate requiring that every single jail have a nurse on staff 24/7. We don't want jails 4 hours away, 5 hours away, or 6 people are dying and no one's there to help, not to have a nurse present at all times. We also want doctors to be present 3 to 4 times a week on a schedule. Once again, to make sure that people stop dying in custody, and so children stop losing their parents, and the parents stop losing their children. Delcia, I've learned a ton from you, and our fight is just beginning, so I want to thank you, and I want to thank all of you for coming out to show your support.
Thank you so much. Lastly, I'm just going to have Michelle just briefly say a few words about the medical piece and whatever else she wants to say for us. Michelle, I'm just going to let you take it from me. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Thank you all so much for being here today. This is the 2nd anniversary of the death of Hardel Sherrell. And it's been my pleasure to work with Attorney George Laughlin on this case, and to work with Delcia, and to work with Kramer, and all the other people that are here to support and stand with this family. As the paralegal working on this case, I've seen all the videos of the prison, at the jail. And I'm here to tell you it is truly sickening. As a retired nurse, I am deeply offended at the conduct of the medical staff in this case. Utter neglect. Absolute, hard-hearted, cold-hearted neglect. And worse, and ignorant, and just ignoring a man's pleas for help. It is beyond belief. You know, I can't take too much of the details because, of course, this case is in litigation. But I am here to tell you that there was an utter failure at every point possible where they could have done something to save Hardel. They failed, and they didn't do it because they were ignorant or didn't know or whatever. This was very deliberative action, where they just said, we think you're faking, just shut up, we're not bothering with you, we're not going to... Literally, nurses telling jailers, don't do anything to help this man as he's laying on the floor, paralyzed, unable to even take a sip of water. This is the level of depravity that we saw in this case. And it is utterly appalling to me, as a 40-year healthcare worker, to see that kind of conduct. It insults me, it insults the entire medical field, that such criminal people can actually be in the field. We need to have higher standards for doing medical care. There needs to be a nurse on site 24 hours a day who is an expert at taking care of people who are certified as a correctional caregiver. We have to have these things because this isn't the only case, you all. That's the second part. This is not the only case. Not even the only case in Beltrami County Jail. And these deaths of young people and people who have more to live for than anybody, these deaths have got to end now. And that is our commitment. And while I'm at it, I want to say a couple of words about peace. And while we're out here, I want to say a couple of words about the BCA. Let me tell you about the BCA. You know what that stands for? Bureau of Criminal Apprehension? Really, it should be the Bureau of Criminal Cover-Ups. Cop cover-ups. That's right. Because, let me tell you what role these people play in case after case after case after case. Their job, they think their job is to clear these top set murder people. Our organization, Community United Against Police Brutality, does what we call reinvestigations of these cases. We've looked into a number of cases. We have 2 we're working on right now. And in every one involving the BCA, they lied about the evidence, they failed to do testing that they should have done, They back up the cases that you wouldn't believe. They do investigations with the cops that are so, in fact, the interrogations are so ridiculous. It's like, oh, you didn't even shoot that guy, did you? You know, I mean, it was like the softball questions, if you would read these cases, would make you sick. But the way they publish the cases, they're 2,000 or more pages of random crap that nobody is going to take the time to read except crazy people like us. And therefore, they bury what they failed to do. They bury their lack of real investigation in these huge documents that nobody ever notices or nobody ever sees. And this is the role that this agency plays. This is the state version of the FBI, essentially. They work with every law enforcement department in the state. They do all of their ballistic testing, their forensic testing, all of their other testing. So, of course, they're in bed with all the other agencies. And you don't think an agency like that is going to actually investigate something, do you? You will. Everybody knows that's never, ever going to happen. So our demand, and we're took it to the legislature, we're going to take it back again, so they're getting right and pass the damn thing. Our demand is to create an independent agency outside of the BCA for investigation and prosecution of cop-involved cases. Not perpetrating cases. That's our demand, and we're going to keep going back to the legislature till we get it. And I hope you all will join us in that struggle, because we have to get these things out of the hands of the BCA. And not only that, did you know that some of these people that work for the BCA, so-called investigating police cases, are murdering cops themselves? You know they ain't gonna try to get anybody any type of thing if they are murdering cops themselves. So they're not killer cops. How the hell are they going to investigate other killer cops? Not going to happen, and we're going to take it away from them. So that's what we're out here fighting for. We're out here fighting for justice for Hardel, but we're out here fighting for justice for everybody. And so thank you for putting it out here.
Sir, you want to come on up? And I'm going to just let you thank you. Thank you again, Michelle, and for what you do in the community, what you're doing in my case. I thank God for you guys. I thank God for everybody that has come out here and has been showing us support and solidarity. It's not easy for me, but I thank God for you guys, because you guys, I don't want to cry. I'm not going to cry.
We got your back! We got your back! We got your back! We got your back! We got your back!
But I can do it through the state of the Lord Christ and foremost. And when I got friends like you all out here, and some of y'all don't even know me coming out to support me, it gives me the willpower to get up and keep on fighting. We have to get justice for Hardel and for all stolen lives in Minnesota and across the country, because enough is enough. I'm going to let Karen take it from here, and he's going to let us know when we're going to march. We were originally thinking to go down Maryland this way, but we've decided to kind of change it up. So I'm going to let Karen take it from here, and then we're going to have other speakers when we get to the next section. Hold on, Sam. Thank you.
Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Black lives matter! If Hardel don't get it, shut it down! 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 If Brian don't get it, shut it down! If Brian don't get it, shut it down! If Brian don't get it, shut it down! If Orlando don't get it, shut it down! If Orlando don't get it, shut it down! If Orlando don't get it, shut it down! If Devin Jordan don't get it, shut it down! If Devin Jordan don't get it, shut it down! If Devin Jordan don't get it, shut it down!
here live in St. Paul in front of the BCA, documenting a gathering where people are about to march in a very few short moments. This march is going to be going somewhere around this area. The BCA is the choice of protest today for Hardel Sherrell. Hardel Sherrell was 27 years old when he died inside of the Beltrami County Jail in a jail cell. He died from Guillain-Barre Syndrome. Guillain-Barre Syndrome sort of started to deteriorate his nerves in his body and slowly killed him. The doctors in the area, in the jail, when he was complaining to the doctors about loss of feeling and all these other ailments that were happening to his body, they said he was faking and trying to get out and escape. He went to the hospital. The hospital sent him right back to the jail. They sent him back to the jail with warnings that he needs to go back to the hospital if symptoms persist. Symptoms persisted and they didn't send him back to the hospital. Calandra Allen, the jail administrator, has been named in a lawsuit along with a bunch of doctors and a bunch of the staff that were COs or sheriffs working inside the jail in Beltrami County Jail in September, late August and early September 2018. Hardel Sherrell died on September 2nd, 2018, 2 years ago today. This is his uncle right here. This is his mother right here.
I just want to say the work that this woman has done has led to 50 new investigations into jails inside the state of Minnesota and because of unicorn riot. CUAPD, Racial Justice Network, and all of you people out here who continue to stand up for justice. We're making change in the criminal justice system. I know it seems like a long time, like a long fight, but 50 new investigations? Have you ever heard of anything like that in Minnesota? No. The speed that Derek Chauvin got arrested at, historical, because of you, because we come together and we're fighting for justice. No justice, no peace. No justice!
So Shahearn, Hardel Sherrell's uncle, just called Unicorn Riot into that area because we were the first to publish the jail videos that were from inside of Beltrami County Jail showing Hardel Sherrell sort of tortuously dying over a few days. He was in there for 9 days. You see, these are a bunch of bikes. These bikes are from the bikers riding against police brutality. There's a few marshals out here. Here goes the bikers riding against police brutality. They're going to provide traffic security. Here's the creator of bikers riding against police brutality. So you see this banner, Justice for Hardel Sherrell. And we know that for those who love God and all things work together for good. For those who are called, I missed the rest.
If Mike Brown don't get it,
Hey, send it both love. Yeah.
You got through some how much you went through? Not messing around, bro.
Yeah. How much was this? You see right here, the traffic is being held up from the bikers riding against police brutality. As is sort of the thing nowadays, none of these protests are asking for permits. and so they're basically unpermitted. But you can see up here there is police that are blocking specific street. And again, this rally started outside of the BCA, which is the Minnesota Bureau of Apprehension. They do investigations into police killings and also other investigations having to do with people in custody and whatnot. When we're talking about Hardel Sherrell's case, he was 27 years old. He was a father of 3. He went in jail on a gun charge. He was going to go to court. That was something that was up and coming. And you talk to his mother, Delcia, who spent a lot of time talking to Unicorn Ride and sharing her story, and you hear that that Hardel was going to do his time. You know, he was going in there. He knew he had to go in there to do some time, and he was going to do it. He was waiting out his court date. And so while he was in jail waiting out that court date is during the time where he sort of came down with Guillain-Barre Syndrome. This Guillain-Barre started eating him away. Beltrami County Jail has a horrid past. They've also been sort of, there's a lot of pandemonium because just the bikers are really loud, and then they're pulling the sound truck up. So, and then there's other people on the traffic that are really mad. So that's what you hear in the background.
Okay, here's how it's gonna go. You are gonna start chanting boots on the ground. Ready on count of 3, and as I remix, you just gonna keep saying boots on the ground. Keep going through the chant. 1, 2, 3, let's get it. Boots.
So we got this dude just not caring at all, rolling through the traffic. Luckily nobody got hit. Luckily nobody's been hit even after that. Yeah, thank you. We got King Demetrius over here, independent live streamer. King D was out. If you're local in Minneapolis and you missed some of what happened earlier today with the encampments, King D and Louis Tran, I'm not sure where Louis Tran is, but they were both live earlier from where the state troopers were pushing houseless people that were reclaiming the wall earlier today on the south side of Minneapolis after an eviction on 24th and 13th, I believe. So that's having to do with the houseless issues. Right now, this issue is about Hardel Sherrell. You see sign Hardel, justice for Hardel Sherrell. You see people in prison are still people. As we were saying, Hardel was about to do his time. He knew he had time. So when he came down with this illness that started to affect him, they didn't really understand what it was. The doctors continuously said that he was faking, and that was based off of the jailers giving that information to other doctors saying that they thought he was faking. So his case is a case of institutional neglect, medical neglect, sort of a tortuous death is what he died with. And you see the crowd out here chanting boots on the ground. That's one of Kim Handy Jones' slogan chants. And she's a mother that's very involved with a lot of police killings and the residuals of effects of the police killings, helping build community around that community itself.
Put them down. Boots on the ground. Street to the feet. Feet to the street. Street to the feet. Feet to the street. What you gonna do with your boots? You gonna put them in cahoots? Boots in cahoots. Boots in cahoots. Boots in cahoots. Our boots are in cahoots. Now who they don't want to mess with? Y'all don't want to mess with these. I got all of my MVPs. Stuck 12. Y'all don't want to mess with these. I got all of my MVPs. Stuck 12. Y'all don't want to mess with these. I got all of my MVPs. Stuck 12. Y'all don't want to mess with these. I got all of my MVPs. Y'all don't want to mess with these. I got all of my MVPs. Y'all don't want to mess with these. Stuck 12. But I got all of my MVPs.
So you see, tell us again about the Hippocratic Oath. There's doctors that are implicated in the lawsuit for the death of Hardel Sherrell. The doctors specifically showed neglect multiple times and multiple visits that Hardel Sherrell made. Hardel Sherrell made first complaints, obviously inside the jail. It's a kite system. You got to fill out a kite. You get possible, you know, medical seen by the medical staff, and the next time around, when they saw him, they didn't understand what was happening. They continued to say that it was just nothing. He didn't understand what was happening. When he went to the ER, again, like I said, they sent him right back. They didn't even keep him for a night. He died the next day. An initial investigation into the death of Hardel Sherrell inside of Beltrami County found that there was no issues, there was no violations, that everything was lawful, that the jail was operating correctly. A new DOC head, a DOC commissioner named Paul Schnell came in. I think he came out of retirement to become the DOC head. So the DOC is the Department of Corrections. So the Minnesota Department of Corrections Commissioner, Paul Schnell, did a re-review of the death of Hardel Sherrell. In the re-review, he found gross violations, numerous and gross violations inside the jail when it comes to the case of Hardel Sherrell. So it sounds like the new DOC re-review, finding those gross violations, strengthens the lawsuit of Delcia Perry that she's filed against Beltrami County, against the city of Bemidji, against MEND Correctional Care, and against multiple other doctors and deputies and sheriff's officers that work as jailers inside the Beltrami County Jail. There's a new, sorry about that, we're walking backwards. This is Georgia on the camera. This is Nico here. There's a new whistleblower that came out this summer, and that whistleblower is a nurse, and she literally said that she wrote letters to the higher ups to tell them that they need to hospitalize Hardel. During that process, when she was writing the letters, it went up to the higher up. So it went up to her doctor, which she was like interning with. That doctor said, no, don't worry about it. Hey, do you want to talk about, do you have a second?
Yes, sir.
So this is Trey Hearn Cruz, the uncle of Hardel Sherrell. I was just talking about MEND Correctional Care and the whistleblower that came out and actually wrote the letter, the email to the doctor. Can you describe that situation?
So a couple days after Hardel passed, the nurse was very disturbed by what she saw, and she wrote a letter to the nursing board, the Department of Corrections, and one more agency, and then they just said they lost it. But after the work with Unicorn Riot, Georgia Fort, Nico Norman, and the protest that we did, it prompted a reinvestigation. In that reinvestigation, they found this letter that the nurse wrote, and then she said that she seen the way they treated Hardel was like murder, and it was torturous. And then the doctor told her, don't say nothing. His name is Dr. Leonard. He's over MEND Correctional Facilities. Keep a close watch to the news. There's gonna be some more information coming out about that soon. But yeah, Dr. Leonard is Dr. Death, and he's a serial killer. So that's as much I can say about it right now. But Dr. Leonard from MEND Correctional Facility is a serial killer, and he should have his license stripped and be arrested today.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll let you get back to it. So that was Trey Hearn, and what he's talking about, we covered action outside of MEND Correctional Care in Sartell, Minnesota, way up by St. Cloud, and that was earlier this summer, maybe 2 months ago. And at that action, you heard all about this, what he was talking about, this letter, this whistleblower. You heard from his attorney, and also you heard about Dr. Leonard and how he was dubbing him Dr. Death. And so that's just one of the issues in Beltrami County Jail. There's been numerous deaths. Stephanie Bunker is another one. Tony May is another one. And that was just in a 3-year span, from 2015 to 2018, from my understanding. It was those 3 deaths. So within that, or 2016 to 17 and 18. So within that, people are pushing for Beltrami County to close. They're pushing for some kind of justice for Hardel's case. They're pushing for accountability when it comes to these doctors. They don't want another doctor doing this to another person and having the same implications of death come upon another person who is in jail, in the custody of the state. So that's the situation out here in St. Paul. You see the police blocking off streets. You see a drummer down here too.
How do you spell racist? How do you spell racist? Fuck St. Paul PD. Fuck St. Paul PD. This is what racism looks like. Show me what racism looks like.
So now the march is moving from Maryland Avenue to Johnson Parkway. It's coming right next to Phelan Park. Very sort of beautiful land out here in St. Paul, out on the east side. Again, so locally, just a quick update. There was a possible eviction that happened with some houseless folks that didn't want defenders there. I think they moved over to the wall off of Franklin and 16th area. And from that moving, it seems like people are okay now and they're not threatened by the state. State troopers were out there for a while. If you want to catch up to that, check out King Demetrius and Louis Tran's Facebook. They went live. It's a lot of independent photographers and independent streamers out here. Right now, this is Nico behind the mic. We got Georgia behind the camera. You see in the distance, it's a sound truck. It's people gathering. Again, this is a protest for justice for Hardel Sherrell. 27 years old when he died inside of Beltrami County 2 years ago. He died in a medical segregated cell. So his death is being remembered, grieved, and thought about. So we got a lot of bikes going along the side and police in the background. People are protecting the march from potential vehicles. I say potential vehicles because there's been vehicle attacks. Since the George Floyd uprising, there's been hundreds of vehicle attacks in the states of where we live, the whole United States. In Minnesota, that's been a consistent for many, many years too. So you see the march seems to be doing a turnaround here at East Shore and Johnson Parkway. Not going all the way into the park, it seems. So we got Louis Tran over here. He was streaming earlier too. So you see the crowd moving down Johnson. So quite a few families out here that have also lost their loved ones. See Ashley Quinones, Brian Quinones, widow. See Toshira Garraway, Justin Teagan's fiance before he passed 10 years ago. Taryn Vang, Travis Jordan's significant other before he got killed by the police. Brian Quinones' son is out here. The cousin of Phil Quinn is out here, as well as the cousin of Billy Hughes, the brother of Paul Castaway. There's 3 cop cars that are following the march. They're all unmarked cars. And in the front of the march is the BRAP, bicyclists or bikers riding against police brutality.
Everybody
So it looks like people are gathering at this space here. This is Phelan Park, the corner of Phelan Park.
We're gonna be alright. What you want? You a house? See, my name is Lucy. You can leave with the mom. I can see the evil way. I heard me. Fuck.
I think they're backing that up. Right back. Let me see.
Be alright, people. Looking at the world like, where do we go? And we ain't gonna be alright. Dead in the street for sure. I make a preacher door. My knees getting weak and my gun might blow, but we gon' be alright.
So you see it down here with the mic is Kim Handy Jones. Her son is Hardel Handy. He was killed by St. Paul police 3 years ago on March 17th.
I smell bitches. I smell bitches. I smell bitches. I smell bitches.
Listen!
We gon' be alright. Fuck 12.
That part. Listen!
That part.
No justice! No justice! No justice! No peace! Prosecute the police! 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 Prosecute the police!
See also Jamar Clark's cousins
No,
and his sister.
no peace!
A
Prosecute
lot
the
of families out
police!
here, and extended families
Again,
of other
just
folks
real
who have been
quick.
killed by police.
This has led to 50 new investigations.
It seems very significant.
There's 50 new families who have not received justice. And right now, that is being looked into. So I'm really interested to know who those 50 people are. That's 50 new families, potentially 50 new fathers, 50 new mothers, 50 new sons who have lost a loved one in jails and correctional facilities in the state of Minnesota since 2015. 50 that we know of. So right now, we got a very powerful activist who pulled me in. I remember when she pulled me in 2015 and taught me a lot. And we've been fighting for justice ever since and changing the Twin Cities and have made it the battleground for social justice in the United States. We got Nakinga Levy-Armstrong from the Racial Justice Network. Give her a round of applause. She's going to bless us real quick.
Thank you guys for being out here in support of Joshua Perry. Let's give her a hand because like Trey Hearn says, she is a hero. When I think about George Floyd calling for his mama, he was thinking of a mama like you. Because you literally have lifted up this movement on your shoulders on behalf of people who have been forgotten, who have been left behind, who they tried to exclude, who they tried to throw out like they were garbage. And you said absolutely not. So even though we don't understand why this happened, God knows, and God knows that he chose you for a special purpose. So we thank God that your boots are on the ground. and you're out here being steadfast and immovable, bringing people all the way to the east side of St. Paul, because we stand in solidarity with you and your family and with Hardel. Now, when I read about Hardel's case, it just made me literally sick to my stomach to think about how he was treated in the Beltrami County Jail for 9 days. And when you read the information, it talks about the fact that Hardel let them know over and over and over again that he wasn't feeling good. They saw the man fall out of the bunk bed, and they claimed that he was faking his injuries. He asked them to check his blood pressure, and then they claimed he was faking his injuries. But like you said, how can you fake high blood pressure? Headaches, all kinds of things that they witnessed, being unable to eat, being unable to rest. It's absolutely ridiculous the way that they treated Hardel Sherrell. But the reality is that he is one of many people who have been brought into our criminal justice system who have died at the hands of the system. And most of us did not know their names. We don't know their identities. We don't know anything about their families. And they have been discarded like trash, which is absolutely unacceptable. In the year of 2014, according to Bureau of Justice Statistics, almost 5,000 people died in U.S. jails and prisons. That was in 2014. Sandra Bland died in jail in 2015 after 3 days there.
That's right.
And that's when people really started to pay attention to this issue. But over 100,000 plus people have died over the last 20 years inside of a jail or a prison. And most have inadequate access to medical care. A lot of times they have doctors who don't listen to their needs. Sometimes people are over-medicated. Sometimes people are suicidal. And a lot of times the diets that they feed people inside of a jail or a prison are really designed to kill you. And we know that when black people go inside of jails and prisons, a lot of times because of our history of slavery in this country, we have pre-existing health conditions like high blood pressure, like diabetes, and a whole host of issues that make us vulnerable to death behind bars. So it's absolutely sickening when we're marching out there in the streets and we're saying the whole damn system is guilty as hell. We mean it. Whether we're talking about the police and their violence that they inflict upon people time and time again, the way they do black bodies and brown bodies and Hmong bodies and indigenous bodies and disabled bodies is wicked and absolutely unacceptable. And this fight where we're taking on the police is closely connected to our system of mass incarceration. Because the police are the first line of defense for a wicked and corrupt system. They're the first people that you encounter on the streets. And whether you're guilty or you're not, they decide whether you're going to live or you're going to die. They decide whether they're going to give you a citation or a warning like they do for far too many white people, or whether they're going to handcuff you, strip search you, particularly how they do black men, and place you inside of the criminal justice system. And people are often detained for up to 72 hours, and they may not even have access to legal counsel. And sometimes they're forced into taking plea deals, whether they did it or they didn't. That's an extreme form of corruption that is an extension of U.S. shadow slavery. We have to understand that connection. Because when they passed the 13th Amendment, which was supposed to abolish slavery, when you read the language, they left the door open to a new form of slavery through the criminal justice system. And most southern states changed their laws on the books to make standard behavior by black men a crime. So it doesn't matter what Hardel did. The reality is that the laws are stacked against us as black people to begin with. So we have to continue to be vigilant. We have to continue to show up. We have to continue to persevere. As lawyers in this system, we have to speak truth to power and let the chips fall where they may, and have the courage to stand up against the corruption within this system. Because there's a lot more Hardels that are waiting for somebody to pay attention and to rescue them and to stand in solidarity with them and to be a voice for them. So that means not being silent when we're seeing these local ordinances passed that are going to bring more people into the justice system for petty offenses. It means not being silent when you see our governor being weak on criminal justice reform. And beginning to hold his ass accountable, along with these legislators who are signed up for business as usual, instead of focusing on the cause of justice. And it means holding the 85% of white people in this state accountable for their silence. And the fact that they're complicit with this wicked system as long as it doesn't touch their doorstep. But if it can come to your doorstep as a God-fearing woman, it can come to anybody's doorstep in the state of Minnesota and across this nation. So we have to continue to rise up. We have to continue to demand justice. Not only should your family receive compensation for what you have endured, but there should be some criminal charges against those bastards who failed to provide adequate medical care. They need to be led away in handcuffs. They need to be tried federally, just like they're trying the people who burned down the 3rd precinct. And all we said is keep that same damn energy when they kill one of us. God bless y'all. Just keep going in this fight, y'all. We can't stop. We cannot stop. This is the epicenter of the movement, and it's built on blood, sweat, tears, and perseverance. Thank you.
Thank you, Fatima. Trans, where you? There you go.
Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! If Billy Hughes don't get it, if Billy Hughes don't get it, if Billy Hughes don't get it, shut it down! Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail. The whole damn system is guilty as hell. So, Hardel was loved and he had a lot of friends. And some of them are here with us today. Is there any friends of Hardel that would like to come up and say a few words?
Thank you. A couple of Hardel's friends had to leave because they had to go to work. But Kyle, thank God he came out. Thank you so much, Kyle, for coming and speaking on behalf of Hardel. This was his buddy for many, many years. So I'm going to just let him tell you a little bit about the Hardel that y'all don't know. Here you go.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kyle. I'm a little shy. Okay. But Hardel and I grew up probably about the age of 8. I was always over at Delshia's house, always feeding us, always taking care of us. Always bringing us to the community center to play basketball. Hardel was a great guy. He really was. And what happened to him was very, 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 very wrong. And we need to see justice for that. Yes, we do. We do.
I love you, Kyle. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. I think you want to come. I'm sorry. You know, I'm bad with names. Jelani. Oh, I said it right. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Yeah, because I hate tearing up somebody's name. There you go. Thank you so much.
Again, I want to just echo what everybody has been saying, and I think we need to recognize this moment, and particularly this case about Hardel, because there are millions of people right now who are in bondage all over this country through mass incarceration. And we forget and oftentimes do not see them because they've been designed for us to not see them.
Right.
They've been created to be invisible. And these are fathers today who are not with their family. Okay. Fathers who are not with their family. So when we talk about child separation or family separation, this has been happening from the inception. In fact, the entire prison system that we talk about today was created as a way to put slavery back in policy. That's exactly what mass incarceration has always been. And to use free labor, especially in the southern part of this country, and then in the north, it became about cleaning up crime, but it was always about slavery. And they want us to not think about them. They want us to forget them. They want us not to believe them. And right now, we need to recognize, as everyone has been saying, that those millions of people today have names. Those millions of people today have families. Those millions of people today need our support. And these cops and this system is so guilty that they have so much discretion that all of those people in prison today, how do you think they got started? By a police officer. And where do you think people go to surveil? It's our communities. It's poor people in this country. It's black people in this country. We have created a system that only looks in those communities. And we have a criminal justice system that is so broke that if you have a little bit of money, you're going to be free. That's the system that we have today. And we have right now, most people don't ever see trial. They never actually present the evidence against them. They never actually bring that forth because they take a plea deal out. And I will share with you a story. I was in North Dakota, very close to, in the Minnesota side, very close to Beltrami County. And there was a gentleman that I was translating for. And he was facing almost 10 years in prison. But he continued to say, I want to go to trial. And his public defender kept telling him and saying, hey, I have never seen this kind of a deal. Take the 5 years. I have never seen in my life. And he kept saying, nope, I want to go to trial. And on the day the trial was about to start, the evidence fell apart and he walked out of prison that day. What does that tell you? Even myself as an interpreter, I didn't even understand how guilty the system is until you see it where he just literally walks out. So I'm telling you right now, there are so many people who have swallowed those plea deals, who are serving time because they've been told the other option is so bad they have nowhere to go. We created that system and we live by it and we have never checked it. We went to sleep, America. We went to sleep, Minnesota. And we need to wake up. We need to wake up. We need to check. And if the system is not working, we got to create a system that works for all of us. But I'm telling you right now, what happened to Hardel is absolutely the worst type of torture. How can a human being who is actually doesn't have his freedom be left alone to die in that manner? It's a shame. And there are many others that we don't know their names that went that way. And the countless people today who are also stuck in a limbo. Just look, there's so many names out there. People who are serving time because they just couldn't get bail money. They just couldn't come out. This is a system that is broke. And I'm glad today we're talking about this mass incarceration, which, by the way, goes back to corporate. It's always been about money. It's always been about money. These people are in encampment. They can't go anywhere, but they're still profiting on their back. They're still profiting on their back. Ask one person to make a call, and they're making the most expensive call in America. How is that possible? How is it possible that the most expensive call in America is in a prison? Someone who can't go anywhere, who wants to connect with their family, connect with their loved one, connect with their attorney. This is a system that we have created. We're willing to put a person in prison, but not to take care of them. And I'm telling you how sad it is, to be honest with you, that when you see the documentaries, what prisons look like in the rest of the part of the world, I am so ashamed. You go to places, people in countries who are so poor, but their prison systems look like places that people can reform in, places where people have hope. They're not a place where a person gets forgotten. It's a place where somebody can come back to society. I can't imagine today the prison systems in America. They're not even suitable for the worst animals that we have. The most violent animal that we have, that we can't even contain, they're worse than that. They don't allow people to see the sun. They don't allow people to exist like a human, dignified human being. The entire infrastructure is rotten. So I ask all of you today, and I'm really proud for many of you to come out. And for this family, and I know we can't stop this fight. We cannot stop this fight. And we have to continue to open up our eyes and see this injustice and call it out, name it, and make sure that when we move together, we move forward. We're not going to fix one part of the system. We got to fix all the parts of the system. And until all of the part of the system is completed, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. And I encourage all of you today, we got to teach in, we got to learn, because to be honest with you, some of us, we may not understand. Just Google mass incarceration in this country. Pick up the book Michelle Alexander wrote about mass incarceration. Figure it out. This is a system that we have built. We have moved backward in the civil rights movement. We didn't move forward. And this is a moment George Floyd is giving us a chance to re-examine this system and to make sure that we will no longer be silent. We will no longer be silent. I will not give up. I will not give up. And I'm telling you right now, Hardel was killed in one of the most racist counties. Beltrami County, if you want to know how racist they were the first county in the country of the United States that actually adopted Trump's policy of banning immigrants from coming in. Can you imagine that? And the sad reality is, so many of us today don't even think about that. Don't even think about that. But you know what? As soon as they made that decision, they heard from a lot of us. As soon as they made that decision, they heard from a lot of people. And I went up to there in a cold morning where snow was packed at a women's march, and there were hundreds of people that came out in the middle of snow marching in Bemidji, letting them know immigrants are welcome here. So I'm telling you, Minnesotans, we're going to come out and we got to go to Beltrami, make some really good trouble over there, make some noise, and recognize that Hardel has given us a chance to open this conversation in Minnesota. There are many people today who are dying from COVID in these prisons. There are many people today who don't have proper legal support. There are many people today who are serving life, like Mayan Burrell and others who should be out right now. And who put them in there? Politicians who care about their votes, who care about moving up on higher power. We put them in there. So I'm telling you right now, I want every single one of you to keep making commitment to these families. Don't just show up to their protests. Carry their names. Carry that family. Hold them dear to your heart. Tell people who you know. Tell your friends. Make sure everybody knows Hardel, and make sure everybody knows what's happening in the prison system in this country. And you know what? We're not waiting for any other state to make those changes. We're going to start right here in Minnesota. We're going to start right here in Minnesota. And I wanted to say about that building over there, that's a grave zone. BCA, it's a graveyard. You know why? Because so many families have been told they're going to investigate, and they come back with the same result every single time. They side with the oppressor. They side with those killer cops. The same departments. So guess what? We don't want any more BCA. We want a new system that we are holding it accountable. We are going to hold it accountable. And every single day, we will demand justice by any means necessary.
Give him another round of applause.
That was Jaylani Hussein
Black
from
lives.
Hare, Minnesota.
Black lives. Black lives. Hardel wasn't the only person. Beltrami County Jail is a death trap. So he's like the 5th person who's been killed in Beltrami County Jail in the last three years. Stephanie Bunker, Tony May, Vernon May. It's been a lot of people of color dying in Beltrami County Jail. So we have Hardel's aunt, Veronica, here, and she's going to say a few words about her nephew.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Hardel's laughter was infectious. Oh my gosh. My sister taught him how to make fried chicken. I would always have him make it for me. He would make it for me and my daughter. I would love it. But what they did to my nephew in that county jail is just unbelievably disgusting. It's horrific. And I haven't spoke out on him at these rallies or anything, but now I just feel it's the anniversary of my sister, we now call it. He is looking over us, and he will watch over us, and I'll be here to fight with my sister till the day I stop breathing. I know that's right. We will get justice for my nephew. Excuse me. He was a father, a son. He was everything to me. And he was just very funny, and he would make you laugh. Lost my job, and he would come home because he used to stay with me a few months, and he would say, "Auntie, you gonna get on your feet? You gonna make it happen?" Being a single mom, and he would just keep hope alive. Even when I didn't see hope was alive, he'd say, "Hey, you're gonna make it, and don't be sad, and don't beat yourself up." And just remembering all the good memories that we've had. My daughters got with him, and got to share with him in his little life that he had, which was taken way too soon. So, Beltrami, you will pay, and it's just a matter of time. It takes time. It's 2 years, and we will fight for another 2 years until she gets justice for her son. So, we love you, Hardel.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. You know, I'm going to have Gabe and Tonya with Native Lives Matter. Come on up. Man, they be getting it in too. Y'all know who they are. I love them. This is my Native family. Hey. Love y'all.
I smell bitches. I smell bitches. Seems like every day we be smelling bitches. Every day. That's okay. We'll be out here. So, what happened to Hardel happens to Native people quite a bit. You don't hear about it. There's no, media that comes running for us ever. So we got to do it ourselves. And one of the people who was killed in Beltrami County, along with Hardel, was Tony May. There's another one that we work very, very closely with, not here in Minnesota, but in South Dakota. Her name is Sarah Lee Circlebear. And she was having a mental health crisis, calling out for help, and nobody came to help her, and they waited for her to die. She had 2 babies. A lot of people don't know Christina Tahawa. Christina Tahawa was incarcerated. She had her arms bound above her head and left there to die while she was singing her ceremony songs. Another one that we work with is Rexdale Henry. He was incarcerated down in Mississippi. He was an activist, and he was beat to death down in Mississippi. The same week as Sandra Bland, the same week as Sarah Lee Circlebear, same week as Paul passed away. So this is like really disgusting. Really, really disgusting that the people we pay to protect us do this to us. Why do we have to pay for our death? So when we're saying defund the police, defund the police. When we're saying abolish those motherfuckers, that's exactly what needs to happen. As you can see, when we come out in numbers, we can protect ourselves. We do a very good job of protecting ourselves. We do a very good job of policing ourselves. We take care of each other. We don't need the cops with the flashing lights and their horns and all of that shit to come and disrupt us. They think we're disrupting them. You're disrupting us. We don't need you here anymore. You don't need to follow us or hack into our Facebooks like you did last week. That's a bunch of bullshit. That's what you're using our money for? That's what you're using our money for. People think that Native people live free and tax-free. Hell no. I paid my taxes last year and this year, and I'll do it again. Hell no. We're not tribal, paid members. We do all this shit on our own. So when you're out here, please remember our people as well. We go through the same shit as the black people. This is not oppression Olympics. Native Lives Matter has been working very, very hard for the past 6 years on solidarity here in Minneapolis and in the Twin Cities. We will continue to do that. We have lots of people who want to bring up, old shit from our ancestors. That doesn't apply to us right now. We all need to come together. We need to uplift each and every one of these families that are out here. We need to be here with them, show up, support them, say these names, write them wherever you can. If you can't come out, share the stories. We have lots and lots of stories on our page about people who are killed in custody. Philip Highbear, he was killed in custody by our own BIA police over in Cheyenne River, South Dakota. Jamie Braveheart was killed in custody by his own police, the Oglala police. Tribal police do the same shit that they do. And when they're gone from these big cities, they put them over on the reservations to continue to brutalize us. It's not our people working for us. It's the white cops that get shunned. It's the white cops that get sent away for killing people, for hurting people, for brutalizing people. They all get to come to the reservation and fuck with us too. So please remember our people's names as well. We are always out here in solidarity with everybody. Everybody. If you got arrested, we're here for you. Our son's out there too. Our son's out in the street 24/7. My son got shot by a cop in the leg. And he was not going to be able to walk again. And like, I paid for that shit, so I feel really fucking bad, you know? So we all need to stick together. Be safe when we're out here. They would love to take an activist out. They would love to take an organizer out at any time. So please protect us. Protect all of us who are out here. You guys do a really good job right now. All the marshals that do that, all the marshals that come when you ask, we're really, really thankful for everybody who does that for us. Thank you guys so much. Yep, the soundtrack, of course the soundtrack. But thank you guys so much.
We're here live in St. Paul. That was Tonio speaking.
Native lives! Native lives! Native lives! Yeah, in Beltrami County Jail, Stephanie Bunker was a Native woman who was found hanging in her cell. In Beltrami County Jail, they got urinals in the female part of the jail. In Beltrami County Jail, the facility is only about 30 years old, but they did a walkthrough and determined that it's like 200 years old. And there's walls and stuff that need to be knocked down and things like that. So we feel that the whole building should be knocked down. And it should never be rebuilt. We need to abolish the jails and abolish the prisons throughout the United States. I think either last week or we have an abolish white supremacy rally coming up. We also want to abolish the KKK. We need to root out the KKK in St. Paul all the way to Beltrami County. So let's come together and unite and make sure we get rid of white supremacy and institutional racism at home and abroad. We got Brother Philip. He's going to come up and say a few words. Give him a round of applause. He's been working against the prison system for a long time and doing very good work. Give him a round of applause, please.
Good afternoon, everybody. I met Del Shea about close to a year ago. We were at a rally over it on Energy Park Drive. And I was so struck and impressed by the grace that she showed and the pain that I knew that she had to be suffering. It seemed as if though she was shouting in the wind and seemed like nobody was listening. I used to look at, when she showed me that video, I couldn't understand how at that time there wasn't even an investigation. There was no interest in this case at all. Going through these so-called politicians that we've elected, these so-called attorney generals that we got in place that can't seem to do anything. And these are the people that we pay for. We're funding our own oppression. And I have to keep saying that over and over again. We are allowing these people to do this with our tax dollars. Right now, our group is putting together, looking through the state constitution to see how we can revamp this tax system to stop this from happening. All these criminal organizations. I don't have nothing on that Derek Chauvin guy, and I have a 50-year criminal history. I was first arrested 70 years ago. I look like Mother Teresa compared to that guy. But yet, the system has us so converted and perverted, we don't really understand who's really in charge. This is the will of the people and the will of God. Dr. King said the moral arc of the universe is long, but it bends towards justice. And the God I serve says that it has to be justice that's beautied up so well. We have to expose it for what it really is. We were in talks with CNN about 2 weeks before George Floyd was murdered. And the persona that Minnesota has all across the country is this nice place, this liberal place. And we didn't get a venue until after he was assassinated. Because people think that because you've talked nice to a person, that it's okay. And they have perfected niceness. But this is I've lived in 10 states in my life. This is the most racist that I've ever lived in. So I do have my own story about my thing with the criminal justice system. I'm going to forgo that, but I want to read you guys a poem. I didn't write this, but I feel like it's apropos for what we're trying to do right now. It's called The Cold Within. Some of you may be familiar with it. 6 humans trapped in happenstance in dark and bitter cold. Each one possessed a stick of wood, or so the story's told. Their dying fire in need of logs, the first woman held hers back. For the faces around the fire, she noticed one was black. The next man looking across the way saw not one of his church and couldn't bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. The third one sat in tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch. Why should his log be put to use to warm the idle rich? The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from the lazily shiftless poor. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from sight, for all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. The last man of this forlorn group did naught except for gain. Giving only those who gave was how he played the game. The logs held tight in death's still hands was proof of human sin. They didn't die from the cold without, they died from the cold within.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. You got some people giving some wonderful words of inspiration, solidarity, support, and love. You want me to stand here? Oh, okay. So sorry. Thank you. The next speaker coming up is Tashira Garraway Allen. Tashira, are you here? Oh, here you are, honey. Okay. So Tashira, come on up.
We're here live in St. Paul. Thank you for joining the stream. George is on the camera, Nico behind the mic.
St. Paul Police 11 years ago now. 11 years ago, but she's also the founder of Families United Against Police Violence. So I'm in it, I don't even know that. I can't get it straight. What is it?
I was letting her do it. Families supporting families against police violence.
I get it wrong every time, okay? I get it wrong every time. But she started that group, and one of the benefactors of her group has been Hardel Sherrell. So, Tashira, please give us a nice word today. Thank you so much.
If you want to know more about Tashira's family, we did an exclusive interview with her.
Delshia would like the rest of the families to come up as well. For any families that have lost their loved ones at the hands of police.
So we got the family of
Yeah,
Don Taylor
everyone.
Wright, Jamar Clark,
She would like Miss
Phil
Delcia,
Quinn,
would like anyone that has
Marcus
lost a loved
Golden,
one.
Travis Jordan,
First, we want to
and a few others.
tell everybody out here, again, thank you so much for constantly showing up for us. Constantly, you are here to stand with these people that are standing right here that are hurting the most. It may seem small to you guys, but it means the world. Only God knows in heaven what it means to see consistent faces. You are consistently showing up for what you know in your heart is right. You are standing up to people that are a part of the oppression, that are a part of the evil. And we cannot thank you enough for simply just showing up. I know a time, personally myself, where my story was not believed. Where I would tell people my story and they would look at me like I was crazy. But you all stand out here saying, I believe all of your stories. I believe you. And I'm fighting for you. I'm coming out. I'm marching with you. I'm showing my face. I'm standing against evil. I'm standing against oppression. And I thank you. We all thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And I want to tell Miss Delcia, I love you, Miss Delcia, from the bottom of my heart. I thank you for being an inspiration to me. You are the representation of a mother that I want to be to my son, to teach my son about the Lord. Because when I leave this earth one day, I cannot stay with him forever. This is what I teach him. I just want him to know God. It's time for us to know God. And it's time for us to let the Lord use us for his glory. Not the glory that the world is trying to use us for. And I pray that God help us to stay together in this fight and in this movement, because as Tonya said, they would love to shoot or kill one of the organizers. They would love for one of us to go down. They would love for us to dismantle ourselves. They would love for us to fight amongst each other. But we will not give the enemy the gratification that he's looking for. So we must stay strong, stick together, agree to disagree, but keep fighting and keep moving forward. Keep fighting and keep moving forward. Keep fighting and keep moving forward. And most of all, keep God first. I just want the families to introduce themselves. Miss Delcia wanted Soren.
Okay. We don't have a whole lot of time. Thank you, Tashira. I just wanted to make sure that everybody got to see the families and what she does and how she's been supporting all of us. I would love for all of them to speak, but we don't have the time. And I regret that, because I really wanted to have some of the families speak, but we really are limited to time. And there's a balloon release that I need to do here in the park. And we're going to do that. But before we do that, thank God, I am going to have Monique take over with the MC, call the next person up to speak. And then we're going to do the balloon release and then head back to the market. Because I don't want to be out here all night. And I don't want to be out here all night either. So, again, thank you so much for your patience.
Thank you. I'm going to just say the name of every family that's out here represented, because we can say their name, right? We got Cobley Heisler, we got Jamar Clark, we got Paul Castaway, we got Billy Hughes and Phil Quinn, we've got Sean Taylor Wright, we got, Don Taylor Wright, we got Travis Jordan, I got that right here, we got Brian Quinones, Superior Ellen, fiance Justin, Tegan or Tigan, girl? I was saying it wrong for the longest. Now you just switched it back up. Tigan, you just said his name wrong. That wasn't me. Okay. We got Kim Handy Jones out here, a mother of Hardel Handy, and also a member of the group is Isaac Aidens. So we just want to say their names, and Marcus Golden, mine. Okay, and Valerie Castillo was out here earlier. Yes. So we just want to make sure we're saying their names, huh? Oh, Lionel Lewis. Yeah, we got Jamar Clark. Demetrius Hill. Okay, those are folks in the group. Jafford Smith. Okay.
Too many.
That's all in the group. We said that. Okay, we're going to keep moving now. We've got Noah M. Court, who does a lot of work with disability rights.
Yeah. Okay.
And he's been doing putting a lot of work to protect those from the police who are in a mental health.
Monique's nephew, Marcus Golden, didn't get mentioned.
So, Noah.
Here's Noah McGort.
Thank you for everybody for coming out today to support the family of Hardel Sherrell. Sorry, Cheryl. So all of you are out here today because you're out here because you took to the streets several weeks ago to protest the systemic racism that is really impacting so many members of our Black and Brown communities. But today I want to address racism, but I also want to address another specific type of discrimination that is so often intertwined with racism, and that's ableism. Ableism is a framework in which certain minds and certain bodies are given values based on what they can contribute to society. And it's discriminatory and it's just as wrong. And historically, we've seen it used against Black and brown people. We see it used all the time. Even in the 1850s, when Black folks were fleeing from slavery, white slave owners were so convinced of the inhumanity of Black and brown people that they decided that it was irrational, and they tried to label slaves who were running away as mentally ill. They called it drapetomania. That you were so rude and ungovernable, wild and savage, that you just had the audacity to want to get out of bondage. Today we see it in a different format. We saw it in the death of Elijah McClain, a Black individual with anemia walking down the street with a mask simply because he was cold and dancing, because Black joy. We saw the same thing with Eric Garner when they blamed a pre-existing condition. We saw it with George Floyd when they blamed a pre-existing condition. We saw it with the death of Kobe Heisler, where autism is not a crime. A neurological disorder should not be a death sentence. Disability should not be a death sentence, and disability, while being a person of color, should not make your situation worse. We see it all the time with autopsies. I was actually reading a study last night from from Harvard University. And what they found at Harvard was that when it comes to autopsies, so often when there's a disability involved, or when there's a pre-existing condition, they'll blame underlying causes, even though the death was completely preventable. Hardel's death was completely preventable. We are here today, and we're going to be here tomorrow, seeking justice for Hardel and his family. And we aren't just seeking justice for Hardel, we are seeking justice for Jamar Clark, for Kobe Heisler, for Justin Teagan, and for every single one of the families who has unjustly lost a family member at the hands of police in Minnesota. We must do better, and when public officials officials refuse to speak to us, when they refuse to respond to their constituencies, we need to vote the motherfucking bum asses right out of office. The time is now, and we are taking advantage of now, and we are coming, and God willing, we are going to win.
Thank you, Noah. Tell us that word again. What was the word you used? Ableism. Look at that. A little education here today. We have an event tomorrow. Okay, justice for Demetrius Hill tomorrow at 4 o'clock, downtown St. Paul. I think there's a new location. I think it's at Rice Park starting. Or Mears Park. Mears Park tomorrow at Mears Park. Yeah. Tomorrow Mears Park. So make sure everyone can come out and support that as well. He died, I believe, 23 years ago. Killed by St. Paul police 23 years ago. Another tragic loss, as they all are tragic and unexcusable and unacceptable, why we must continue to be out here. Delshia, are you ready for the balloon release? Where are the balloons? Oh, you want to walk out there? Okay. Okay, yep, so as we caught the tree, so we're going to change the direction of focus out into the green pastures. Oh, thank you. And I know Delshia wants to say a few words as we prepare to release the balloon.
So again, we're here live in we are live in the east side of St. Paul. There's about to be a balloon release for Hardel Sherrell, who was 27 when he died in Beltrami County Jail 2 years ago today. So right behind us is Delshia, and this is his mother, and she has a blue balloon in her hand. And you see his aunt is right here with the white balloon in her hand. And here goes his uncle, Delshia's brother, Hardel Sherrell's uncle.
Okay, those of us who have balloons, I'm asking the family of Hardel to come on over here so we can release them. In honor of Hardel, we have 27 balloons. We had 27 balloons. And we just want to release them back to heaven because that's where he's at.
That's right.
And we just thank God for the 27 years that we were blessed to have Hardel in our lives. Yes. And on the count of 3, I'm going to just say, rest in peace, rest in heaven, Hardel. 1, 2, 3, release. Rest in peace, rest in heaven, Hardel. Love you. Yes, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Lord.
So what you just witnessed is a balloon release for Hardel Sherrell. 27 balloons for each year of Hardel's life. So a multitude of family members who've lost their loved ones to the police were actually taking part in the releasing of the balloons. You see right here is a conglomerate of families. Justin Teagan's fiance, Tashira, Travis Jordan's significant other, and then Kobe Heisler's mother and stepdad. All of them have experienced the loss of their loved one. Here's Jamar Clark's sister and little one. Hey, what's up, little dude? You okay? And then so we have the family of Brian Quinones over here, and again, Hardel Sherrell's family. And there's some other family members. John Taylor Wright, who got killed in Brooklyn Center his family is here as well.
Okay, as soon as the truck turns around, you can line up.
The truck is going to turn around. The crowd is going to go right back to the BCA. The BCA is the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension here in Minnesota. And that's where this march started. Again, this is 2 years since Hardel Sherrell's death. Hardel Sherrell died in Beltrami County Jail. He died of Guillain-Barre Syndrome. As Guillain-Barre started to affect his body, he complained. He rode a kite. He was in jail on a gun charge. He was serving his time to wait till his court date. When he served his court date, he was ready to do his time, whatever time it was. It was a gun charge. From my understanding, he might have had to do some months. That didn't equate to a death sentence, his family says. He came in, I think, August 24th, left September 2nd in a body bag. He died in a medically segregated cell in Beltrami County Jail. He died, again, from complications of Guillain-Barre Syndrome. It's sort of a not well-known syndrome, but also if you're in the emergency rooms, if you're a nurse, if you're a doctor, you do know about it from my understanding. Some of the symptoms he had were very, very well-known Guillain-Barre symptoms. It's called GBS for acronym. In the process of his death, he told his mom, get the cameras, hire a lawyer, get the cameras because they're mistreating me in here. And that's essentially what you see from the video cameras. You see days of medical neglect. Those days of medical neglect led directly to his death. He was brought to the hospital. The hospital told him to go back to the jail. It was an assortment of adults that had the responsibility over Hardel's life because he was in state custody, and all of those adults acted medically negligent, again leading to his death. An arduous, harrowing death. We released we were one of the first ones to release the jail videos. So go back later last year and check that out. We released the interview as well as the jail videos of Hardel Sherrell's death in Beltrami County Jail. Delcia Perry, who was right up here dancing, that's his mother. She's been speaking out about his death since his death. She filed a lawsuit, and that lawsuit is corrections officers, the jail administrator, Calandra Allen, doctors, nurses, anybody who had something to do with sort of neglecting his medical life, his health care, neglecting who he was as a person. They continued to say, Calandra Allen continued to say that he was faking it and that he was trying to get out of jail. He's trying to escape. And so that was based off of really no evidence. There's been investigation into the jail. The first investigation from the DOC found that nothing was wrong. A re-review by new DOC Commissioner Paul Snell found that there was gross violations from the jail. So that means the DOC, Department of Corrections, actually found the jail, Beltrami County Jail, in very huge neglect and very grossly incompetent in the dealing of Hardel Sherrell. And so his attorney is over here in a suit. He's all suited up, and we heard from his attorney a little bit earlier, and his attorney was talking about basically the case and how this case is not a one-off, but it's also a case dealing with as we've been talking about the neglect of the medical institutions. We see a sign that's continued to tell us again about your Hippocratic oath, and so people have called into awareness how doctors are complicit in the system of white supremacy, but also in the system of jail and housing people inside of their institutions. About a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, there was an action in St. Cloud. There was an action near St. Cloud in Sartell, Minnesota, outside of MN Correctional Care. MN Correctional Care is contracted by, I think, 30 plus jails in Minnesota to provide correctional care. That means they're the ones in charge of providing health care for people who are locked up into their institutions. MN Correctional Care is the correctional care that was employed or contracted with Beltrami County. Beltrami County is the jail that Hardel Sherrell died in. Dr. Leonard is the creator of MN Correctional Care. Dr. Leonard has been sort of called out. You heard earlier from Traherne Cruz that he calls him Dr. Death. Dr. Leonard has been called out because his intern literally sorry about that. His intern has literally been, or his intern, Dr. Death, Dr. Leonard, who Traherne called Dr. Death, literally said that the intern wrote a letter to Dr. Leonard. Dr. Leonard said, don't worry about it. The letter said that we need to provide better health care for Hardel Sherrell. That wasn't happening. I'll chill out for a second while this motorcycle goes by. And these are bikers riding against police brutality. So Sherrell was in there, Hardel was in there for 9 days, he passed away. In the process, as we were talking about, a nurse, there goes Kim Handy Jones and Delshia getting busy. This is the type of community that we've seen from these ladies for some years now. Unicorn Ride is also working on a documentary called The Mothers. These are two of the mothers that we sort of look at and we sort of talk about. One of them being Kim Handy Jones, and how she's also turning her pain into power, building community out of the awareness of the death of her son by police, as well as helping other family members and families that have lost loved ones to police. Delshia is doing the same thing. The families, supporting families against police violence, they're also doing the same thing. And so that's just a small snippet of the side effects that we see from police killings or people dying in custody. They have to deal with it every day. How do you deal with the loss of a loved one? Delshia's case, she's a mom, a single mom. I mean, that was her single son. And so she doesn't have any other kids. So she's lost everything that she sort of had with her child. So how do you deal with that? How do you grieve with that? How do you move on? That's one of the situations that people have a lot of difficulties, but also they're building a lot of community around it. And so we'll try to bring you some more on that continuously throughout the next years, throughout the next months. We're going to have that documentary out sometime in the near future, and we're working on it. We were working on it really good until COVID happened, and then the uprising happened, and you know how things go. So as we're walking down, I think this is Maryland Avenue. We're going back up to the BCA. Unicorn Ride will be bringing you more coverage from the streets. We'll be live in Minneapolis in a little bit at a Sanctuary Defenders March. So that's dealing with the houseless, folks. And so right now, this march is headed up to the BCA, very close to the BCA. If you want to know more about Hardel Sherrell's case, check out our website. We have a new article on it. It sort of showcases some of the MEND correctional care action, the re-review that the DOC found gross violations, as well as the lawsuit and the jail videos. So if you want to know more, again, check out our website, unicornride.ninja. Check us out on Twitter, where a lot of our media goes up, UR_ninja. Check out Instagram, unicorn.riot. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo. So again, this is a lot of the bikers are doing traffic duty. So they're from bikers riding against police brutality, and they're doing traffic duty to protect the march. There's 3 officers in the back of the march and 1 way in the back that are in unmarked cars. And there's a few, like maybe 1 or 2 officers up there. It's been a very non-eventful as far as like threats coming in. There hasn't been any that we've seen. We did hear yesterday or the day before from the Kobe Heisler action that there was certain things that were planned that didn't go through, like a march, and that was because of possible threats around. Also, at the end of Kobe's action was a time where the police arrested somebody for doing witchcraft.
Shut it down.
out because so you can hear me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. We'll just keep walking this way, and then we'll turn around when we can.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna talk to Delcia right now. What does this mean to you? This is 2 years after the death of your son, your only son, in Beltrami County Jail. What does this mean to you? I have a lot of people out here. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling pretty hopeful, and of course, you know, I pray about everything. So I thank God that he continues to give me the strength to keep on fighting. So to see people come out here after 2 years, they're standing in solidarity with us. And that means a lot to me. It means the world to me. And especially with you guys coming out, you guys are always on the spot to cover the news that the media always wants to spin the negative. But I thank God for you guys to, you know, cover the news in its entirety and the truth. So I thank God for you guys being out here with us as well. So
thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
So there's been a lot of things have happened. A re-review of the case, found gross violations, a whistleblower, a letter from a whistleblower. There's all these things that have happened. Are you feeling that you're closer to getting some kind of semblance of justice?
I'm sorry, can you ask me that one more time because I couldn't hear you?
Are you feeling like you're, with all that happening, that you're getting a closer to any kind of semblance of justice?
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I would have to say that a year ago, I was feeling kind of hopeless about the situation, but because of the things that I've done, and one of the announcements that I'm going to make is that I have started my own organization, and it is official today, and it's called Be Their Voices. And Be Their Voices is an advocacy agency that will, of course, be the voice for those who have fallen sick or, you know, cannot advocate for themselves, as in the case with my son. So, and now I've got, you know, the elected officials involved, and I'm saying to them, listen, we need changes, but you guys got to help me to change it, because you know the system and where the issues are. I don't necessarily know all of the issues, but you know the issues, and so I need your help to make it happen. So yeah, I believe that they are really interested. They've said that they want to make some changes, and they're going to bring it to the table with me. And in January, we're going to the legislation, and they want to hear my story. And, you know, I just thank God, you know, for them giving me an opportunity to share his story. So, yeah, I'm very hopeful that we will get justice a lot sooner than a lot later. And so I just thank God, you know, that they're finally listening. But it's too bad that it had to take all this for change to come. This was overdue. That should have happened well before Hardel died. And Hardel might not have died had the things been in place and the right things were done according to the law. But they've been hiding it, and it's been a big government cover-up, and now they realize that, yeah, they got to do something. And if they don't, they know that it's going to be a huge, oh my God, I don't even want to put it out there in the atmosphere, you know, because life and death lie in the power of the tongue. But it's not going to be pretty if we don't get the kind of justice we're looking for. Criminal charges, jobs lost. I mean, jobs lost is like minute. But criminal charges, we're talking several people need to be in the jail. First and foremost, including Dr. Leonard himself, who is over medical, and of course several of the correctional officers that are in Beltrami County Jail. So yeah, we just need to change up some stuff.
Thank you for all that. I know we're here. I know you might want to get back to it. Anything else you want to say?
No, I just thank God for you guys coming out and giving me the opportunity to speak to you guys and share my story again. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you. God bless y'all.
So that was Delcia. You heard from people are driving by with their fists in the sky, honking their horns, multiple cars. See high fives. You see the crowd has moved back up to the BCA, and now the community is showing support. Again, the people are out here doing the traffic. Over here you see the police have blocked a couple of these car lanes off. There's this car that's sort of stuck, and it seems like everybody else is just showing a lot of support. So the marshal is walking this car up. Gonna let them go by. The other cars are going by. How you doing, man? Hey, you got a second real quick? Do a quick interview? I forget your name. Dax. Yes, sir. We're here joined by Dax, who's creator of BRAP, Bikers Riding Against Police Brutality. Yes, you want to talk about your organization and then what you all are doing and how did today go?
Yeah, man, we've came a long way. As you guys can see, I mean, this is what we do best, man. You know, we make sure people are safe. We handle business. I really appreciate everybody coming out here, having a great time, and really being peaceful. That's what we're all about: peace, love, you know, and protesting. You know what I mean? In a good way. So getting our word out there, and we're going to continue to do so.
How can people find out more information about your organization? And what is your organization?
Facebook. We have a Facebook group, Bikers Riding Against Police Brutality, BRAP, B-R-A-B-P, I believe that's right. So yeah, go ahead and follow us. We also have a support page. We're trying to really, amp that up, get some juice going with that, so we can support the community. Any donations, as far as merchandise, anybody like to buy, is definitely going to a good cause. So yeah, we appreciate all our followers, everybody who's been seeing what we do, and like I said, we're gonna keep handling business as we can.
Thanks. Anything else you'd want to say?
No, man, just to the people, just we gotta keep out here. Unfortunately, our numbers have been dwindling. When we first started this whole movement, I mean, it was beautiful, it was great. A lot of people got out here, people who you wouldn't expect, are out here. But now it's kind of it's kind of dying out, and we need people to stay out here, keep their voices strong, and continue to be out here. So please, everybody, get out here if you can. All right.
Thanks for watching our back. Got the marshals keeping us safe.
I wanted to say again, thank you to everybody that came out to show us support today. Thank you to all the organizations that are feeling in front of you. We're so very grateful. Words can't even express how thankful we are, but I just have to say that again. But before I do read that, the poem, I just wanted to also let you guys know that today, my organization called Be Their Voices has become official today. My God, Be Their Voices. I'll have to share that with you a little bit later, but that was what my attorney was telling you all. And I'm just so grateful that Trayvon, pushed me, because he was telling me, he said, sis, you got to do something, come on, we got to get going. And I just thank God that I know how to, listen to others, even when they're younger than me. And I also want to just let you guys know that in a week, my book will be published. And I thank God for that. So while I've been at home, I thought the mic was doing something weird, but at any rate, while I was at home mending to all of what I was dealing with aches and pains and, heartaches, God was having me to finish a book that I had started before my son died. But when my son died, I hit such a deep depression. I was like, I'm never going to finish the book. And the Lord said, yes, you are, because you're going to finish it, because I told you you were going to finish it. And he did. He gave me the strength and the mental capacity to do so, to just stay focused long enough to get it done. So it will be available in about 2 weeks at Barnes & Noble, Zulon, and of course you can get an autographed copy for me if you so choose. So the title of the book is called Stay the Course and Watch.
Again, this is Delshea Perry.
So
DEL space SHEA space PERRY. The mother of Hardel Sherrell.
Will touch the hearts of other mothers who have lost their sons, and others who have lost a loved one. Mama, see, I've been set free. I see the hole that's in your heart. Trust and believe God is mending that hole and healing that spot, because it's God's amazing work of art. I know there were many times that you stayed awake at night crying and praying for me to see the light and go in the right direction. But see, Mama, all those prayers you prayed provided me with many years of protection, because I should have been dead long, long ago when the devil tried to take me, but God stepped in and said no. So I thank the good Lord I had a praying mama, one who never gave up on me. But trust and believe through your prayers, Mama, I've been set free. I know it's hard to believe I'm gone, thinking back on when I was really, really young. God blessed us with a lot of good memories, just you and me. But you gotta hold on knowing that I've been set free. God knew my time was coming near, but during my last few days of life, I had no fear, because he was there with me, lending an ear and holding me dear. So please, mama, please, don't you shed another tear. Now you go do what the Lord wants you to do, because God's got me, and he's got you too. I ask that you ease your mind and let him take you places you never thought you'd see. So please, mama, please, don't worry about me. I'm free from all hurt. Y'all hear me? He is free from all hurt. And I thank God he came and told me that, because for 4 months I couldn't sleep on my back, knowing my baby died on his back. But he says to me, I'm free from all hurt and all pain. Your prayers were never in vain, because the Lord came and got me and set me free. Now you go be who he created you to be, so that other sons' mamas would be set free. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Sharon, I'm going to let you finish us out. Thank you again. Okay.
That was beautiful. Thank you. And I want to applaud you for the strength that you've shown in this. And the anniversaries can be very difficult. But you're standing strong. And you keep standing strong, because we're going to keep standing with you all the way. Absolutely. Justice for Hardel Sherrell. Absolutely. Love you. As I've been giving y'all a shout out, I didn't give a shout out to Peter and Wes and the people who have been doing the soundtrack for us. We've gone to a whole nother level, right? We started out with bullhorns and we went to like totes with sound systems, and now this is the best we've had, right? We are heard loud and clear. So thank you so much for just working diligently. Every time we turn around and protest, like the truck is out. So thank you. Thank you so much for that. And also, as we were chanting, if there's someone here and I didn't call out their loved one name, charge it to my head and not my heart. I was just trying to think of names as we were marching. So hopefully I got everyone.
Marcus Golden.
So Trey Hearn, did you want to close us out with like a solid chant? Nikila? Oh, I do have an announcement. Okay, 5 o'clock on Friday in Loring Park in Minneapolis, there's a movement safety training. 5 o'clock, that's put on by Seaway PD and Racial Justice Network and Care, Minnesota. 5 o'clock on Friday. Don't forget we have the event tomorrow at 4 o'clock. It is on Facebook. And Demetrius Hill. Yeah, Demetrius Hill. Tomorrow at 4. I'll get that shared so you can look at it on BLM Twin Cities, BLM Minnesota. And then we got Nikima's going to close us out with your shout out chant. Thank you.
So again, remember, come out tomorrow for the event in commemoration of Demetrius Hill, starting out at Mears Park in St. Paul. And then Friday, we really want you guys to come out to Loring Park at 5. We're going to have pizza, but with the events that have happened in Kenosha, we really want to make sure we're focused on movement safety. We have to protect ourselves. We have to know who's who. We need to stand in solidarity. So please come out at 5. All marshals, medics, we're asking you guys to come out as well, because you play a crucial role in helping to keep us safe. Let's give them another hand, y'all. They do some powerful work. So I'm just going to close us out with the Assata Shakur chant. Once again, we thank you, Delshia, for letting us share in this angelversary in honor of your son, Hardel Sherrell. It's been our blessing to lift you up. Please repeat after me.
Sorry, also we have marshals prepared to escort you back to your vehicles. You don't want getting snatched up, as can happen. So if you're parked and you got to walk a little ways, please have a marshal.
2 of the last actions in Minneapolis has featured arrests after the actions.
And that is important, because after our last protest, a couple of days ago, the Hennepin County Sheriff did snatch a protester and took her into custody. So and they were watching her on video, so we need to know that they're paying attention to us even more closely. So that's part of what we're going to cover on Friday as well at Lauren Park.
If you want to know more about that, check out our
Y'all
website.
ready for the Asada Shakur chant? All right, please repeat after me.
A new article will be up soon.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
Last time in honor of Hardel Sherrell. Be loud. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
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 All power to the people.
Hey, we gotta bring the screen down, but if you want to do a quick interview, we'll do a interview right after.
So we are here at the BCA. We are wrapping up the 2-year angelversary for Hardel Sherrell, and we're here with Kimberly Handy Jones. Kimberly, you have done a lot of organizing for families. You're usually first responders to families, the mothers specifically. You host an annual banquet for mothers. Mothers come, here from all across the country. Can you talk about where do you find the strength to get up and continue to do this work each and every day?
Well, when my son Cordell Handy was executed, I just got up from the ground running. I didn't know where I was going, who I would bump into, but I knew that I need to go, and wherever God leads me, I will always follow. So I just stayed the course. And along the course, I met different mothers who were like me, shared the same circumstance, who had lost kids to police brutality. And so from that point, I began to travel around the world and meet mothers all around the globe. And I knew that I wanted to do something in honor of my son, of his legacy. So I was at the graveyard one day cleaning off my husband's headstone and my son's headstone, and I'm in there crying. And all of a sudden, I look up and look like God just said, here it is. You're crying while cleaning your son's headstone, but there are so many mothers out there that don't have that fortune. They just have a proximity where their children lie, but no definite point. And God spoke to me. There's your foundation. And I could hear Cordell saying, make that happen, Mama. And so that's how the Cordell Q Handy, in remembrance of me, foundation came to fruition from that. And from there, we began to start it here in Minnesota, where my son was executed by Miko Norman and Nathaniel Young, St. Paul police. 2 police shot him at the same time while my son was suffering a mental health crisis breakdown. And so the first one was 2018. And I can remember we started off with 8 mothers, including myself. And so I just began that following year to watch it grow. And then this year, watch it even get bigger. And thank you, Nico, Georgia, Unicorn Riot. You all have followed that. So I've just, I've seen growth. And even in the midst of a pandemic, we were able to do the banquet this year. And the following week, everything shut down. So it was just meant to be. And we have given mothers from around the globe headstones. So when you see mothers cry and you hear their stories, it's heartbreaking. And what mother wouldn't want to go to the graveyard and put flowers down? Maybe talk to their kid. It's just so much, but it's like tucking your kid to bed. You think about the pajamas, the pillow, the blanket, tucking them in. And the same with the graveyard. And this police brutality, it really needs to stop. I was thinking about how when the movement went to, where Bob Crow lives, what city? Hugo. How black and brown and indigenous people were ostracized and just really made to be uncomfortable. And so this is not, out of the norm for us, it happens every day. But I watch white people begin to lie and start spewing their narratives about what they think John Thompson said and other people did and said. And I had wrote a post on Facebook. I say, white people, you say one thing to them and they become the victim. One thing wrong, they become the victim. And they act like they're choking the life. You're choking the life out of them. But in the meanwhile, that was George Floyd. We clearly seen that and they thought nothing of it. And I said then, did they forget? They killed Cordell Handy, Marcus Golden, Hardel Sherrell, Jamar Clark, and so many thousands. Brian Quinones, Justin Teagan, Jaffrey Smith, so many around the globe. And one thing that I will say, the graveyard don't lie. It does not lie. And we can point you in any and every direction throughout this world where you will see our children's headstones, where they lie, where their bodies are buried. It's said that we live in a world where white people are made to think that they're supreme. There's nothing supreme about being white in a world where you care more about somebody dropping an F-bomb versus somebody's kid being killed on these grounds and dying. And I say it all the time. I drop the F-bomb. But I tell them, if you think I got a potty mouth, I dare you to come and sanitize it. I'm 100 proof. Nothing less. You want to water something down? Go home and water your plants down, because Kimberly Handy Jones refused to be watered down. In that order. And I will fight them tooth and nail by any means necessary. Don't come for me, and I didn't send for you. And this is a lot of the problem. White people are fine with jumping in areas they have no business being in. Jumping, you want to jump in the arena? Jump in the arena for fight for justice. If you brought your bike here for black, brown, and indigenous bodies like you do your racist values, we would have a powerful impact on how the police behave globally. And it's sad. And no white person should be able to breathe till we all can breathe. None of them should be free until we're all free. And they think that it cannot, and I keep saying this, happen to them. You all have seen it at the banquet. I have white mothers that come to the table who told their kids, oh yes, trust the police. Do what they say. They're your friends. They're here to protect and serve. And their kid end up dead. And it is, it's the ultimate betrayal. They feel like they failed their kids, the trust that they put in the police, only for their kid to be stolen by the police. So, I'm going to leave you with this. When they talk about the looting here, the looting in Kenosha, George Floyd could have been here just like them buildings could have been here. But they want to say black people did it. No. It was the boys in blue who did that. And that was all a tactic to take away what really happened to George Floyd. Trying to put the thought on, look what they're doing, look what they're doing. And don't worry about George Floyd being choked to death. We understand it. Black people understand it all too well. George Floyd life mattered. All their lives mattered. And people are saying, well, George Floyd is, he's taking over and our kids are being washed away. No. I will never believe that Cordell is being washed away because George Floyd is the here and now. When I look at George Floyd, I see Cordell and I see all of the lives that left here before George Floyd. So clearly, your sons and daughters and loved ones are not being washed away. They're just the collective all of what police brutality look like and systemic corruption. That's what it is. And Kyle Rittenhouse had no business putting his dog in that damn fight. His dog wasn't in that damn fight. He should have stayed his little white ass at home in Antioch and not came to Kenosha across the state line to come and kill 2 white protesters and maim the other ones. Unreal. And to try him, they're thinking about trying him as a Jew. He wasn't a juvenile. I got kids his age. They don't walk around with a gun, and I damn sure wouldn't bring them there with a gun. So my thought is that he came there not to protect himself, but to take some lives, and he did just that. And until they indict and convict, I'm not trying to hear nothing. He needs to be sentenced. Free Myron Burrell. Free Myron Burrell. Here's a young man that didn't do nothing, and the family's saying he didn't do nothing. But yet we got one who we seen kill 2 protesters. And he's sitting in juvenile like hell. He don't need to be in juvenile. His ass needs to be under the jail. And they need to go get his mama and put her under there too. Because one thing about it, if I bring my kids somewhere to do something like that, you think we're going to be tried? My son is going to be tried as a juvenile? The problem is we have 2 types of justice systems. One for black people and one for white people. Those are the justice systems that we have. Had he been a black young man killing a black kid or a white kid, he'd be under the jail. Because they'll convict us for our own. And they'll damn sure convict us for a white kid. I've seen it too many times. But as far as me, I'm going to continue to stay in the fight. I'm not going to roll over. I'm not going to fold over. I'm not going to give in, and I damn sure ain't going to give out. I'm going to keep my boots on the ground. Hey, y'all at Unicorn Ride out there, all you folks, this is Auntie Kim. I love you. And remember, people, breathe.
Thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate you. Kimberly Handy Jones, she's the mother of Hardel Handy, who was killed on the east side of St. Paul. Today, we're here broadcasting live from the BCA, where a demonstration was happening on the 2-year anniversary of the wrongful death of Hardel Sherrell. He died in Beltrami County Jail. We've done extensive coverage. We've been following this case pretty much since it happened. If you want to learn more, if you want to see the footage that was released, we are one of the first media companies to release the footage. It is available on our website, unicornriot.ninja, where you can also make a donation to our work. After this stream, we will be live probably within the next 30 minutes to an hour, broadcasting live from Minneapolis Parks and Board, where we're going to be covering some action that's happening surrounding the homeless encampments throughout Minnesota. Thank you so much for watching today. I'm Georgia Ford. Nico is behind the camera right now, and Chris or Dan is on the back end. Not 100% sure which one, but thank you all for watching today. We appreciate you.
All I have to say is, fuck the guy. He's ready to.
Well, like, we on the way down.
He's on the way down. I'm camera shy.
You didn't look like it right there.
Right,
huh?
right.
You didn't look like it right there.
No, I just ran out. See, now
all
I'm
on the
froze.
stream now.
Am I live?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Hi, Adrian Wilson, Mr. Adrian Wilson. I love Unicorn Riot. I love what you guys are doing, telling the true stories, unedited. As a filmmaker myself, being out there and seeing what we see on the floors and in the streets versus what we go home and see.